Kinley is a shy but very active 14-year-old. She's a very dynamic child. She's just always doing things. Kinley was active at that time in karate and basketball, and she started complaining of some pain in her foot.
When my feet started hurting, my parents took me to a local doctor here, and he took an x-ray and he didn't see anything in there.
At that point, I was really getting concerned, and we decided that we needed to do a little more investigation. And so I requested that an MRI be done, and it was. And that's when we got the diagnosis. I am a pediatric physical therapist, and I have worked for a very long time with children with a variety of physical needs. I had had some good experience through some of my clients with Dr. Casey in OrthoCarolina. I felt immediately like that was the way that we needed to go.
The source of Kinley's pain was in her ankles. Her diagnosis is called a tarsal coalition, which means an abnormal connection between two bones in the foot. This affected Kinley by interfering with her activities to be athletic. It really hurt for any sports and running, and Kinley is a very active young lady and was unable to do the things she loved to do.
When Dr. Casey did an x-ray, she saw on x-ray immediately what the problem was, and she let us know that the way to fix it was through surgery. But she handled it in such a way that wasn't as scary as it could have been. I felt extremely confident in her skills and her knowledge just from her bedside manner.
Dr. Casey made me feel more comfortable because she talked about how this would affect me in my future, and other doctors would just talk about the issue and they wouldn't really elaborate on anything that would happen to me.
As a mother, it's one of the last things you ever want to hear, that your daughter has to have surgery. So of course there was a piece of me that just got very frightened. But at the same time, I knew because of my professional knowledge that was what was needed, and that yes, that could fix the problem. It sounded like from the way Dr. Casey explained how she was going to do it, that it was going to take care of our problem.
I was really scared because I wasn't sure what was going to happen and how it would make me feel afterwards and if I'd be able to do any sports that season.
When Kinley was in the cast recovering from her first surgery, she was walking on crutches and she couldn't put that casted foot down. So suddenly she started complaining that her other foot now hurt. And my heart just sank because for a pain to be that identical on the other foot, I just kind of knew in my gut what was going to happen there. And sure enough, when we went back to Dr. Casey for follow-up and told her that there was now pain in the other foot and she did an x-ray, we got the news that we were going to have to travel the same road. Even though OrthoCarolina is in Charlotte, which is a little over 2 hours from where we live, I don't have any hesitation making that drive for appointments because someone like Dr. Casey is a rare enough person in her position that I'll travel for that.
Well, Kinley is actually an amazing young woman, and she took it very beautifully. She did not bat an eyelash when she knew she needed to go through it again. I think probably because she knew that it was going to make her better.
I was happy that Dr. Casey would be able to do my second surgery because I knew what she was going to do, and she already knew how to fix it because I knew she could fix my other foot.
The second surgery was even easier than the first surgery, if that's possible. It went well. She recovered just fine. So Kinley started having knee pain in the fall of this year, and I felt after many attempts to treat this locally, it was time for an orthopedist to get involved. So I decided I was going to pick up the phone and take a chance at calling OrthoCarolina. So I explained that I just had a question about some knee pain that Kinley was having, and this person said, "Oh, well, let me take your number and have Dr. Casey call you." It was right at 5 o'clock that day. My phone rang, and it was Nancy, our very favorite nurse of Dr. Casey's. And so she had a conversation with me, and quickly I said, yes, we need to schedule an appointment to go see Dr. Casey.
When I found out that I would be able to work with Dr. Casey, it made me feel happy because I knew that she already knew what my body was like, and she'd be able to help me more than I think another doctor would.
When we were done with the surgeries from Dr. Casey, Kinley wanted to do something to tell her thank you. And so I suggested that one thing would be she could take her a copy of her book.
Kinley wrote a fantastic book called The Amazing Gift, and she gave me a copy, which I have read with my children. It has actually inspired my daughter to write a book as well. I expect much more from Kinley in the future from her writing activities.
I don't know that I could thank Dr. Casey and OrthoCarolina enough, because the experience that we went through was big for us as a family. You know, it was one little surgery for Dr. Casey, but this whole chapter of Kinley's life and our life was very big to us. And the fact that she does remember us, as the fact that we went back several years later and she remembers us and she cares about us still and again, is very powerful.